Okay, man, I'm waiting for you. Come on around.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
My man.
What's up, baby? We're back.
I know.
How you feeling?
I'm okay now. But I was okay before. But, oh man, this thing. Oh, I told you before this whole thing was run. I love what we're doing.
Let's do it, baby. Hey, let's keep doing it. To the moon.
Well, and
beyond. That's what I'm saying. You can't make this shit up. No script, baby. This is all real.
Okay, do the thing.
Okay. Let's get a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, man? It's your boy, Foster
Feinstein.
Hey, man, we back with another one. This is episode 8, I believe.
It is 8. Yeah.
Damn, that's 8 weeks in then. Well, 9 weeks we started with the pilot.
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Hey, man.
Where does the time go?
Who knows? Does time even exist?
We're not going there because
That's a whole other subject.
No, and I stopped smoking pot. I don't smoke pot anymore. I can't do that.
Yo, so if this is your first time watching the show, Foster and Feinstein, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe, and you share this with as many friends as you got in your contact list. That's a big ask. Share this with as many friends you got in your contact list. Most people got hundreds to thousands of people in their contact list.
Yeah, and I know you're not gonna find what we're doing
Nope.
anywhere else.
Don't look either, because
It's not a sales pitch. Oh shit, my phone's on. It's the truth. I gotta turn my phone off. You can go, man.
See, he's busy.
No, I'm not. No.
I'm trying to catch up to him.
I'm dizzy. I'm not busy. I'm dizzy.
Busy.
Kill it. Oh, we're on airplane mode. Taking off.
Let's go.
All right.
No, fucking rocket ship mode. To the moon and beyond. Let's go. Welcome. So those who are loyal followers and viewers, welcome back. To those that are new, welcome you. So today's episode, we kind of talked about what we should, because usually we ask each other a question that we don't talk about throughout the week, so that we can give a live response right away. This week we decided to talk about something that is pertaining to an experience that we both had, and that is the military. So shout out all my military followers, shout out all my military viewers, and all the families of military members. We appreciate you for your service.
And you should go for. Let me tell you, I don't know his story and he doesn't know mine, but I can tell you without a doubt, man, are they different. So, age before beauty.
Okay.
And
okay.
So
I like that. Age before beauty.
You should go first because you have, in a way, you have like real stories.
All stories are real.
No, but
Mr. Feinstein.
Yeah, but mine are.
There's no fake news here.
No, not that. No, you won't. QAnon, not spoken here. But anyway, so you should start. You should start with your experience with the military and how it began. And
okay. So let's get to shooting. Pew, 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 pew. No pun intended. Military first started with my grandfather. He joined the army. My dad's dad. He joined the army back in the day before I was born. He ended up getting out. I don't know if he served a tour in Korea or what or not. I should have called and asked my dad to verify what his actual service was. But fast forward to me, I talked about me running track and cross country in our podcast, on our YouTube show 2 episodes ago when we were talking about running.
Yeah.
And so I had those scholarships, and I didn't end up doing well in the college that I went to, and I ended up flunking out of college, and so I decided to join the military, and I decided to join the Air Force. Hoorah, Air Force.
Okay.
But so when I joined, I went through a recruiter named Tech Sergeant Ramirez. He might have been a staff sergeant at the time, but Sergeant Ramirez, he went through the process of trying to get me and my brother in, and when I went through, I had to take an ASVAB test to make sure my scores are good. I scored pretty high, like got like an 80 or something like that on the ASVAB test, which is really decent.
By the way, he probably got more money for getting brothers than he did for, there was like a double whack that he would get.
They get a lot of pinch probably. And so, joining the military, when I got my ASVAB scores back, they were telling me like, okay, you could choose this many jobs. It was a whole bunch of jobs, and at that time I was like, no, I don't. I want to hold out for construction. Okay, I don't know why. I just thought that construction brings a lot of money. You know, you get a construction job when I get out, and this and that and the other. So I held out for like 6 months, and then I asked the recruiter if I decided to go active duty and I signed the papers, will I go to war? I was told no. I was told no. I was told no.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, I ended up deploying 3 times.
Oh, keep going, because I want to know that. I really want to know about that.
Yeah,
part.
so fast forward past all that, I ended up getting in, go through basic training, go through technical school, get to my first duty station, which is Hawaii, Honolulu, at Hickam Air Force Base. And while I was there, the first, I would say 6 months of active duty, I got an assignment to go to Afghanistan. I was 20 years old. I was fresh. I was like 19 turning 20. I think I ended up turning 21 and actually in Afghanistan.
I had no idea, man.
Kandahar, Afghanistan. Yep.
Oh, fuck.
And it's one of those things where I wasn't even mad because you make a lot more money when you deploy, which of course you should. You're risking your life. You're doing things that majority don't get to do. Not necessarily saying it's like a thing that you want to do, but it's a thing that you should do whenever you are called to the call of duty. So yeah, then after that, I ended up going to Africa.
Where?
Djibouti, Africa.
Okay.
And then I ended up going to Iraq. I've been in Japan. I've been all over the world because of the Air Force. And then when I got out, I ended up going back to school.
Well, wait, but while you were in any of these deployments, was there any dangerous shit that you were? Well, no, I'm asking you, man.
100% dangerous. Yes, like
Well, you know,
there was.
like what?
I'm a highly decorated
No, you're not.
veteran.
You
Yes.
weren't seriously?
Yes.
Like when you no.
Like, okay, so the way the military works when you're active duty in the sense is that you get jobs that you got to do, and if the job you do either save lives or protects like a majority of the squadron and things like that, you get EPRs, which is evaluation reports, written up about what you did, the contributions that you gave to the squadron or the field in which you were. I deployed with the Army before. I've deployed with the Air Force. I've deployed with Special Forces. And when you do certain jobs, they write up scripts that go in your PIF, or not your PIF, but I think it's PIF, personality identity report or something like that. And so they track with you. And that's why when you see people who have on their uniforms and they have all their insignias, and then they have those those ribbon things,
Yeah.
the more ribbons you have means you did more things. Like you've accomplished more things. And in my first 2 years in the military, my ribbon rack was bigger than most people who have been in 10 years. Because I brought a few things because I don't want people to think that, you know, I'm over here just talking crazy. This is just a small portion of things I was gifted. So I got coins from Hawaii that when I was stationed there, I got coins from doing jobs with the Reaper and the Predator, which are the unmanned drones that come in that they were introduced while I was in there.
Great. Okay.
I got coins from like the squadrons that I was with, the Prime Beef. I also got coins from, let's see, that's just basic training. Presented for excellence. You see, this was given to me from a chief of the Air Force, from the 15th Airlift Wing. I got from the Red Tail 1 to Tuskegee Airmen. The legend continues. So this is all these things, combat air power for America. I got Air Force meritorious achievement medals. These are, and I only brought a few because I didn't want to take up too much time on here. And then also because I brought my dog tags. I don't have them pinned up to me, but yeah, I had a really short stint in the military. It was only
How many years?
4 years active, 4 years inactive. So I had a real short stint in the military, but I accomplished a lot on paper. and then in actual physical form, because we did a lot of jobs. I was a civil engineer, a combat engineer, so we built a lot of bases and we tore a lot of bases down. We built runways so that planes can get in and out and get troops in and out. I went on at least 75 convoys where you go from one base to another, bringing resources and products to building and stuff like that. So my military career was short, but it was exciting, and I loved every little bit of it except the war part. But I'm not going to talk about why I didn't like the war part. I'll leave that for your speculation. What about you, Sir Feinstein?
Well, mine is more, I don't know what you would, I'd probably comedic, I suppose.
Okay.
But those things are like, you know, they give you these things, you know, and these ribbons and stuff, you know, for your chest, which are more than anything else are, you know, they're really for like, you know, psychological reasons to make you feel really
good.
It's a morale boost. Make you feel good about, you know, all the shit you had to do, it's okay. I'm real careful about it because of my background in terms of my incredibly loose connection to the military.
Loose.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. I'm very respectful.
Okay.
Of people who did real military stuff. The politics of it is not for this, you know, this conversation.
Right.
Or maybe
politics is a heavy conversation.
Or maybe,
or
maybe any in terms of what the fuck we're doing in Afghanistan and half of these places. And
I would say the word, but I don't want to say it out loud.
say anything.
Nope.
No, whisper it in my ear. I want a quick thing again about stuff that, and I will get, you know, to my story. It's really interesting. What I'm told is one of the primary reasons. You know, this is really out of left field, man. Why Abraham Lincoln really kind of changed his tone about where he was with slavery.
Because of Frederick Douglass.
Well, not Frederick, but he really wanted to create some sense of equality, so the North could
fight the war,
could get African American soldiers. Okay. So it wasn't some high ideal of freedom.
They just needed bodies.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And I also know, I don't know about Red. I know that. You know, during the Second World War, which I read about, I'm not that old.
What?
Fuck off. And the other wars, you know, you go in, and in a sense, regardless of your ethnicity, you got a job to do, and there are the ideals of freedom and all that, and then you come home, pretty much to a country that really doesn't give a shit about who you are and what you've done.
You know why though? You know why that is? Because I don't mean to cut you off, but
you please.
I did.
You did.
I did cut you off. I didn't mean to.
No, you did.
But
we'll talk about that later.
Yes, sir. The reason that they don't give a shit is because only 1 to 2% of the population of the country decides to make that choice to join the military. So the rest, the majority of the 98%, don't even have the experience of what it's like to put your life on the line for an ideal. That's it. Just an ideal.
Well, and you know, and then you come back to honestly, then you come back to a place that doesn't give a shit about the ideals. So.
They have no clue. Right.
So it very disconcerting. All right, my story is it starts in. Let's see. I was in college from
1766.
Fuck off. From 62 to 66. And back then, and the Vietnam War was really starting to pick up in the mid-'60s. And back then, they had student deferments. So I was in college. And as long as I was in college, I was not going to be subject to the draft.
Okay.
God, I forgot the letters. But what I do remember is once you got out of college, the deferment ended, and then you became something called 1A. 1A meant that you were going to be drafted. So when I got out of school in June of '66, I became 1A.
I don't have that many fingers. Okay.
Yeah. Well, all right. So.
I'm such a piece of shit.
No, you're not. A little bit. Anyhow, So, was really nervous. I didn't want to get drafted. By the way, I was not in favor of the Vietnam War. I didn't do anything. I didn't burn my card or anything like that. It made no sense to me. It just seemed like a lie. And really, from that point forward, all the damn wars that this country has gotten itself involved with are really they're lies, keeping this country safe. There are a lot of things that we need to do that we haven't done to keep the country safe, like taking care of our own, for another time. So I had to find a place that was safe. I didn't have rich parents, and I knew a lot of guys that did where I grew up, and they would get 4F, or their parents knew.
They had influence.
Yeah, or their parents knew. They would do things like they would eat like 8 pounds of chocolate. They would go in for the physical and they would flunk. Or they would get out on psych reasons. Or they knew congressmen who could get them out. I didn't have any of that. I could not find a reserve unit to get into. And back then, reserve units was safe. They weren't called up like they have been in the recent years. They were all filled. And I had to go to a place in Staten Island. And if you lived in New York City, Staten Island was like another part of the world. It was not part.
You had to catch a bridge to go there, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't like part. But anyhow, there was a reserve unit open in something called the Army Security Agency. The reason why there were spaces open is because that when you went on active duty, you went on active duty for maybe 10 or 11 months, which for the reserves was really long. National Guard, you went on active duty for like 4 months.
Okay.
So there were spaces open. So I joined. And I ended up getting, I would go to meetings. And the meetings were either once a week or a weekend a month. And so I would go, and so I got called to active duty. I went to Fort Dix, where I was part of just
a bunch of dicks.
No, I was just a part of the overall draft. So it wasn't like I was a reservist.
I say that bunch of dicks because at that time there was a lot more men in the army versus than women. So Fort Dix had a bunch of dicks.
Yeah. So now
all pun intended.
Yeah. So keeping in mind, I was like 21 and graduated college. And I go to Fort Dix, and there are kids there, and when you're that age, age differences really mean a great deal. So most of the kids there were like, I don't know, 17 or 18. They were from Middle America and all sorts of other places. My very first night in Fort Dix on active duty, and I'm in my bunk. I think I had an upper bunk. It was very, very clear to me that had I been drafted, I would not have gone. Okay?
Why is that, though?
I would have gone to Canada. I didn't want to have anything to do with any of that stuff.
So you were like, I'm out. If they pull my number
well, they won't. No, I was already in the reserve, so I was cool. Anyhow, so I finished my basic training, and then I went to a place called Fort Devens in Ayer, Massachusetts. I had a top secret clearance.
What?
Yeah.
Top secret clearance.
Yeah.
Everybody that's watching this that doesn't understand the clearance levels. Top secret clearance is the top, and then there's one above that supersedes top secret clearance. But I'm not going to get into that. You can Google it yourself.
But I did. I had a top secret clearance, and then when I was applying for the unit and all that, these guys with raincoats, they came around to my like old neighborhood in Queens. I was working in New York.
You got to make sure you are who you say.
Yeah, I was working in New York at NBC, which I talked about before, and I'm sitting at a desk working, and two guys come in looking like they're Secret Service, and they started asking questions about me. They said, "Wait a minute, it's me. Don't So they went and asked other people. So I went to Fort Devens. I was there for a long time, and my specialty was Morse code,
Oh.
right? So I had to sit in a room for hours on end with the headphones on and writing it out. And a handful of times, kind of like in the middle of nowhere, some kid would get up, throw off the fucking earphones, and flip out.
No, bro, you can think about that. Think about any of you guys that are watching this right now. How would you feel hours on hours in just listening to...
So I did it. So I did it, and it was up in Fort Devens, and a lot of the reservists at the time, especially in the Northeast, they were Jewish guys. So we had a lot of Jewish guys in our reserve unit. The Army is incredibly respectful of religion, or at least they were when I was in. And in the Jewish, there are like so many obscure holidays in the Jewish that nobody gives a shit about. We had one guy who knew them all, and he would go to the CO every time there was a holiday, and we would get passes.
Wow.
We would leave. And especially if it was on a Friday or a Monday, we'd get like a 3-day pass and we'd leave.
Damn.
So I got together with a couple of guys, and we actually rented an apartment in Boston.
Okay.
I think it's called Commonwealth Boulevard, is one of the major thoroughfares. We had an apartment that we would go to on weekends and stuff. So anyhow, finish my active duty. I come home, and part of the obligation was 6 years of meetings.
What?
Yeah, 6 years. And it was either it was either one night a week, a weekend a month, which I'd said before, or you would go, and as a part of that, you would go away for 2 weeks of active duty every summer.
Okay.
All right? For 6 years.
Okay.
And I did. During that time, it was, of course, it was the late 60s, and I had hair. And I still do. So they actually would let us get away with wearing wigs. I shit you not. Honest to God. So I went, I got a cheap wig, and it was, like a long kind of a beetle wig, and I ended up, cutting it, so it was like short, and I cut it so short that, the top where the kind of the hair comes, there was this little plug on top. I looked like alfalfa. I shaved the back of my neck. Okay, this is like the best part. I was waiting to get to this part. I shaved the back of my neck, so I would tuck my hair up, okay, and I'd put on the wig, and I would go to meetings.
What was the point of the wig?
Well, because I wanted to wear, I wanted long hair, and they let us have
Because
short.
you had shaved it all off.
Yeah, they let us have short hair wigs.
Okay.
To get away with it. So I went to these meetings. I swear, in the middle of going through this, the years of meetings, I didn't think it would ever end, and at the same time, if I'm ever talking to somebody who was actually in the real military, I'm very careful not to complain. Okay. So I have tremendous respect for people who actually served. Politics has nothing to do with any of that stuff, but the people who are in, and they're in harm's way.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Is that out of that 1% to 2% of people that joins the military, right? That gets broken down, especially in the Air Force, to an even smaller percent of another 1% to 5% of people who actually go to combat. Majority of people who join the military don't see combat.
Right.
So that's why people who are veterans and then people who are combat veterans, they're different. Because veterans a veteran means you served in the military, active duty, or at one point in time. To be a combat veteran, you've been in actual combat. And then to be a service member mean that you at least served at one point in time. Like you could be a service member of just like going to basic training and getting kicked out. You're still considered a service member.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So don't downplay yourself and your involvement into the system of the military industrial complex. No, I'm not gonna go that far, but
I don't know. I don't consider it. I consider, first of all, I consider it a long time ago.
Say that again.
Jesus. With all this, when I was in the middle of it, I was not happy. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it would ever end. But oh my God, it was so long ago that really at this point, all I find is the humor in it, not really not anything else. And one other thing about it, when I was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, I did. Oh yeah, and you were in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I was in Albuquerque.
But not for now. I did a lot of different things, and one of the things I did, I was a concert promoter, and I did a concert series in the summer of 1989.
And I was alive.
Well, you were really?
Barely.
It looked like you were still shitting yourself, probably.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was called Music in the Pines. It was really good. I did it up on the side of a mountain, and it was every Sunday. And I had really big names: Bonnie Raitt, Bruce Hornsby, Etta James. It was serious. But when I was putting the show together, I made it a point of going to, and I forget the name of the organization in Santa Fe, but it was the organization for Vietnam vets.
Nice.
And I hired the vets to do the security, the parking, and all that. So maybe like a dozen guys.
Nice.
I really wanted to.
Respect, my brother.
Well,
Respect.
I wanted to. It seemed like a really good thing to do, and I got to spend time with these guys, and when we were planning. But at the end of each show, because they were on Sunday, but I didn't have lighting, so they were over in the afternoon. So at the end of the show, everybody's gone, and we'd all kind of get together, the production people and the guys, and we'd sit around and drink beer and smoke dope.
Damn.
Nice. And to a one, when these guys, and most of them were pretty big, when they started talking about the Nam, invariably, oh God, they'd cry.
I bet, bro. They should have been there as well.
And it's what war does to soldiers.
Yeah.
Again, nothing good to be said about it, but I developed a real, I don't know what you would call it, just a real sensitivity to how damaging that kind of experience is for the men and women who do it. And seemingly how easy it is for all of the fat cats in suits and so forth to send our young people into harm's way.
So I'm going to segue off of that because that emotional statement that you just hit, matter of fact, show your trinket from your service,
yeah.
too.
This is it. He's got a bunch of shit, and probably and weapons and a whole cachet for the revolution. This is all I got. It's my dog tag, and it says Lawrence A. Feinstein, Jewish.
It says Jewish on there?
Yeah. It's not my idea.
Okay.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, I remember my service number, ER 11475-879.
What in the fuck?
How do you like that? That's on here.
That's 467 years of memory.
That's right. And my blood type. And so it's my my name, my religion. Yeah.
Mine says Christian, I guess. And at the
So
point,
they
you're
did.
right.
I don't know if they do it anymore.
They still put it on.
But this is all I have to prove that I served. Oh, and I still have my. I forget the name of what they call the card. I have my actual service card or something with my records on it. And I remember once stupidly calling the VA. No, not stupid to call, but I called to find out if, as a reservist, I had any benefits, and they laughed at me and hung up.
No, you got something.
No, you don't. No, seriously, I don't.
Okay. Well,
No.
so what I was about to say is that, you were talking about the Vietnam guys era that you hired to work at the concert and all that, and how they cried talking about their experiences. Now, fast forward that to middle day America, 90s and early 2000s, where in inner cities, these kids that grow up in these, that have no choice but to live in literal war zones in America because of gang violence, because of police brutality, because of mental instability from people who do come back from war and are ticked off at any type of thing. They have no resources to say how they feel. They have no outlets to express seeing murder in the streets. They have no outlets to being harassed by the police, to let them know how they feel, so they internalize it and they become hardened, and that's why a lot of the crime has happened over and over again in the late 2000s. Well, not late 2000s, I guess 2000 and teens and up, and like there's a spike in violence and people who don't care about the lives of others because they're desensitized to the weight of the world because of video games, because of war, and because of living in the streets. And we're talking millions of people that are experiencing this. We need to stop that shit. Like, I know this show got a little deep. We went into that, but it's one of those things where, oh, Alika.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Oh, God, you ruined the show.
Nah, that's perfect. That was because we're about to end this anyway. Because it's one of those things where we got off what we needed. You got off what you needed.
Oh, yeah, but to me, with what we're doing, always has to have humor and warmth about it. I would never want whatever we're doing to deteriorate, into some kind of like a platform.
Right.
So that was certainly not, either of our intention.
Facts. No, it was just real. It was how we felt, how our experiences.
I got a real problem with violence as a solution to anything other than more violence.
Yeah.
And
what's the saying goes? Violence begets violence. And war begets war.
Sure. Dumb as shit. And it's, we've been doing it, forever. And man, it's not a solution to anything. That said, my time in the Army Reserves, I look back upon now, and it's a source of humor. And when we talked about, let's do the military thing, because you had real experience in it, and mine was sort of like really, it was kind of like make believe, and.
It was real.
Kind of.
Comparatively, it was different. I was literally boots on sand, and death, and tanks, and fucking all bombs, and grenades, and mortars, and all that shit. But it's one of those things where is that just because I experienced that doesn't take away from what you experienced, because what you experienced is something totally different. But then so is that kid that's 8, 9 years old that's in the street that just watched his uncle or his dad get murdered by a rival gang member or the police. You can't take away from him not serving in the military and take away from the time you served, what you had to do, because I volunteered to do what I did. To be in the military at the time I went, it was a volunteer act. So you can't say that, it's
All right, here's the deal, okay.
Don't get down on yourself.
I'm not, no. I was enabled to take advantage of the system, okay, because of where I was and, all sorts of things. I was able to get away with having to serve, and I know that. And
but shit, honestly, if I had the option of not going to war, I would have took it. They told me that I wasn't going to go. That's why I signed it out of line. They told me for sure I was going to go. I probably would never signed it out of line.
Really?
So I'm not saying I have all the courage and all the.
Oh no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no choice, because once you sign it out of line, you are property of the government.
So it was kind of too late to sue.
It's too late. You can't. There's no suing the government. There's a clause that.
But you said.
Hey, well, that's been fucking Foster and Feinstein. Is there anything else you want to leave the people? Make sure you subscribe and you like and you share this with as many people as you got in your contact list. For sure.
No, no. We all of us have have so many different experiences in our lives.
They're all valid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and hopefully, no matter what they are, what they were, you learn from them, and you grow from them, and you become a better person as a result of them. No, yes, you know what I mean?
I know what the fuck you mean. You feel me? You know what he mean, and you feel me. You feel? All right. Well, appreciate y'all for staying with us, man. like I said before, make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Foster and
Feinstein.
Feinstein. We fucking over and out, baby.
That's it. And
Let's go.
yeah, I'd salute, but I'm not gonna do that.
Salute is usually
No, I'm not gonna.
officers. We're enlisted.